Hello everybody, it's been a while since I made one of these videos, but anyway, we are going to be taking a look at a scenario where Spain creates an empire. So Spain just recently won the World Cup and now they are feeling pretty unstoppable, but they are going to be forming an empire today. But also I made this brand new map just because, well, I like the other ones, like the white map, but I also feel like having all of the colors makes it look a little bit nicer in my opinion. So yeah, that's different. But anyway, let's get into this scenario. And basically, Spain is going to be declaring war on their first country, this being Portugal as well. Also in this world there is no NATO. I haven't added that yet. But yeah, for these series, no NATO. Otherwise, doesn't make sense. But anyway, in the north, we see the Spanish doing a little invasion from this city right here, as they will go down the northern parts of Portugal. But they will also go from this city, I don't remember what the name is, but they will capture a Portuguese city right here, and they will continue their advancement until they eventually will what the heck? But they will eventually reach Lisbon. I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure. I'm an American, so I don't really know how to pronounce these names. But over here we see that the Spanish forces will continue their campaign as they will capture a major city, and well, yeah, they're just gonna do something like this where Portugal will surrender, and now we can take a look at a peace treaty. But unfortunately for Portugal, in this peace treaty, we see that the Spanish will fully annex the Portuguese. Now, I don't really know if the Portuguese have any overseas claims, so yeah, we're just not going to do that. But now the Spanish are actually going to be going on yet another conquest, and this being just south of them, as they will declare war on Morocco. As using the little micro territories they own around Morocco's coast, they will create a little invasion, as they will invade into this city right here and capture it. But the Spanish will continue to go around the coast, as then they meet up with Algeria, but they will continue to go down. However, they will be facing some Moroccan resistance. However, after a few months, they will make a naval landing over here by I know the name of the city, but I don't know how to pronounce it. It starts with an R, but yeah, Morocco's capital. But Morocco having to split troops on two sides of the battlefield will not end out good, as well. Yeah, it's the whole Spanish military versus, well, your capital city. On top of this, the Spanish they will start to move down the coast of Morocco, and also they will start going into the desert, I guess, a little bit. However, I don't know if it's all Saharan desert, but yeah, it's a little deserty here, so it is pretty hard to do. Up in the north, we see that Spanish forces will continue to go into Morocco, as they will then go down and capture this major city right up here. But then we will be seeing Algeria join in on this war, as they will start sending forces into Morocco as well, trying to, well, just get some free land, as they will move troops out from this little piece right over here, and they will capture this major city and leave this all to Algeria. But Morocco fighting a two-front war is not the best, and it gets increasingly worse, as Spanish forces will capture the city right here and start to siege the capital, and over here they will continue to go down the Algerian border. However, the Algerians are also going to do the same and make a consolidated front line over here, and down here they just all of this just gets captured. And from here, the Spanish and the Algerians will work together to defeat the Moroccans. I mean, they're already fighting a two-front war, so what are you going to do? But the Spanish will eventually get the upper hand and cut Algeria off so they don't get any more land. And from here, the Moroccan government will surrender. And now we can take a look at this peace treaty. But in this peace treaty, we see that the Algerians will get a nice chunk of land out of Morocco, but also the Spanish will get the whole northern part and also turn Morocco into a puppet state. However, Spain is pretty mad at Algeria for interfering on their war, so we're gonna see something very unfortunate happening for them. But yeah, the Spanish will declare war on Algeria. And from here, they're just going to start to go around the coast, capturing this major city and moving out and connecting up with this naval landing. Down here, their forces will move out and capture this major city right over here, which greatly weakens the Algerian front as well. Yeah, that's their closest city to any of this stuff. I mean, I think that was a Moroccan city, but who cares? Up here, we see an unready Algerian army, or unprepared Algerian army, becoming very, very scared, as Spanish forces will siege the capital city, as well as start bombardments from the waters. But they will capture this major city right here, and from here they will almost encircle the major city, or the capital city. Over here, it's a little bit of a different story, as there are a lot of Algerian troops, as they will recapture this major city and start some pushbacks around the border of, well, the Spanish puppet state of Morocco. But up here in the north, where the Spanish have the superior military, or a lot more military, they will start a huge invasion of Algeria, as they will start to go further around the coast, and from here, they will even start to maneuver some troops down here. As we see that they will make a nice counteroffensive, or a nice offensive into the Algerians, recapturing this major city, and well, yeah, just pushing the Algerians back, and this war is looking very in favor of Spain. Even so, we see that they capture this major city right over here of Algeria, and from here, they will encircle the capital. And yeah, let's just say Algeria is they're willing to surrender. And surrender is what they do, as the Algerians will now surrender over to the Spanish. Now we can take a look at this peace treaty. And in this peace treaty, we see that the Spanish will be getting a ton of coastal land from Algeria, as well as they will almost get back the whole Moroccan border. Yeah, good for Spain. However, Spain's ambitions are not yet over, as they want more land, and unfortunately now they're going to have to go up against some stronger European countries. And who will the Spanish go after first, you might ask? Could it be France? B, could it be Italy? C, could it be Tunisia? Or D, France? As we see Spanish troops flooding into southern France as they were preparing for this for a very long time. The French, they kind of knew that this was going to happen. However, they didn't know that it was going to happen this early, so they were left very, very unprepared, which leads to the Spanish rising up and, well, yeah, kind of recreating the whole Carthage thing. As we see Spanish forces moving over here to, there's a city here, I forgot its name, but they will continue around the French coast, trying to cut them off, and from here they will make a landing on Corsica and take out the whole island. Up in the north, we see that they capture, I think this is Nantes. I don't know. Remember, I don't know how to say these cities, so well, if I mispronounce them, please tell me how to say it in the comments. But from here, we see that the Spanish will continue up and eventually get to where Normandy is. But they will now go over to this city that I also forgot the name of. And then they will completely consolidate their front line, making them look like, kind of like the Spanish from Norwegian, or like a Norwegian's Wixo series, as their Spanish Empire was really huge, and that is kind of what they're looking like. However, Spain is not the only one that is going to be getting in on the jumping of France, as the UK and Germany will also get on this. As we see, the UK will land over here and capture the city before the Spanish forces reach it, and they will also land over here and capture Calais. And the Germans are going to go back to a World War I tactic. as they will invade through Belgium to reconnect up or make a very, very great line against the French. But however, unlike World War I, this actually will work, as we see that German forces will now start to move in from Belgium, and they will also move in from Minsk, or I guess Minsk's over here, but they will move in from Frankfurt and now make this a complete invasion from the Germans, making it very consolidated. Seeing this, these Spanish militaries are absolutely going to drop everything and target Paris, as if the British get there, the British are going to put the treaty in their favor, and if the Spanish get there, they are going to put it in theirs. So the Spanish will try to make multiple spearheads out toward the capital of France. However, the UK also has a somewhat similar idea, as they will now put out a spearhead of their own to get toward Paris. And the Germans are not doing anything. They're just doing some World War I and World War II things, as the Germans will continue their invasion over here, as they will meet up with they will continue their border with Switzerland. And yeah, they don't really care what they get. They just want France's land, because, well, if France is already kind of like semi-collapsing, why not get some free land? However, the Spanish are going to be victorious, or almost victorious. They will capture the capital first, I will say. But in a very intense battle, the British will almost get to the capital. However, the Spanish will be the first to reach it, as these two spearheads will connect up with the capital city, and, well, all these troops just surrender. But in the meantime, they will start to go and encircle it, and they will cut off the British's access to the city, leaving to, well, them just taking this. And within a couple of weeks, the French capital will fall, and France will surrender over to the Spanish. But now we can take a look at a peace treaty. And in this peace treaty, we see that the Spanish take a huge majority of southern France, including Corsica, and, well, the Germans take a lot of eastern France, and the British take Calais and this other one. But France becomes a puppet state. But now where to go? The Spanish, they have invaded France, they've invaded Portugal, they've invaded Morocco, and they've invaded Algeria. But now, where are the Spanish going to go from here? They could go north and try to attack the British, but that would lead to a very costly war, probably one where the French would rebel, the Germans would invade them, the Italians, and all these other countries would try to regain independence. Or they go for a country that has literally not been mentioned once in this episode. Sorry, Greece. But Spanish forces will land on the Greek peninsula, and they will immediately start invading this country, as they will immediately siege Athens and capture all of Crete. Up in the north, they will establish a border with Romania, this is not Romania, this is Albania. But they will go down here and capture a lot of land and immediately threaten this city. Once again, I don't know. This one I know is Alexandria, but yeah, I forgot what the heck this thing is called. I think this is Alexandria. Actually, no, this is Alexandria, but I know this one has, like, Alexander in it. Named after Alexander the Great, of course. But from here, we see that the Spanish forces will continue to go around the Greek peninsula up north, as they will capture this area and meet up with Turkey, who, yeah, they might want to get on, or they wanted to get on this, but now they're pretty upset with Spain, as the Spanish took, well, yeah, land that they wanted. And after the capture of Athens and, well, surrounding areas of Athens, the Greeks are going to make the good decision to surrender over in hopes that they are not fully annexed. But now, let's take a look at a peace treaty. And fortunately for Greece, they are not fully annexed, as the Spanish will only take a couple of major ports for the Greeks. And now, who are the Spanish going to go after? No! Poor Italy. What did Italy even do? They didn't do anything to you, Spain. Oh, wait. As we see that the Spanish will declare war on Italy and start invading all of these islands and also mainland Italy, crossing the Alps. But why would the Spanish invade Italy? One answer. Punic Wars. Remember, the Carthage capital, if you watch Oversimplified, it was in the Spanish Peninsula, the Spanish Peninsula, and from there, the Carthaginians and the Romans, they had a huge war, which resulted in 2 Roman victories, and that was the end of Carthage. So, and, I mean, technically Spain has created the Carthage Empire, besides, Greek areas, but they would like a rematch against Rome. So they take all of Sardinia, and then they start to make landings on Sicily. On Sicily, they do very well. However, some Italian forces show up and start to push them back a little bit. However, in the north, the Spanish will be able to consolidate a huge front against the Italians, now threatening Venice, I believe it is called. I don't really know. But from here, Italian forces will finally arrive and start pushing back the Spanish armies, as Italy will cut all these troops off from the Spanish, mainland Spanish occupied territory. And Italy is putting up a fight. They are not going to go down without a fight, because they do not want to lose, well, technically the Third Punic War, because, well, Spain's pretty mad. But they do not want to lose a Third Punic War, or they do not want Spain to win this Third Punic War. So they're going all out and trying to stop the Spanish, as they cut this northern front into 3 parts. Spain will quickly try to make a supply line and move all the forces out, which is pretty good for them. However, that does mean that this front will begin to fall, as tons of Italian forces, I can't speak today, will start to push the Spanish troops out. However, down here in the south, the Spanish will have and set up a little stalemate. Down here in the south, the Spanish will continue their invasion. However, with the stalemate up here, the Italians are going to start sending down even more forces. And with those forces, they're going to push back the Spanish almost completely out of the island, as the Spanish will lose many battles down here. However, the Spanish will then make an invasion into around Rome, and since there are a ton of armies in the north and a ton of armies in the south, Rome is not really protected. They never really thought this would happen. So when a ton of Spanish forces are right outside the gates of Rome, what does Rome do? Well, nothing, as they quite literally just let the Spanish cut them into 2, because they literally cannot do anything. They're in a bad situation. However, hundreds of thousands of troops will then start to retreat from Sicily, leading to a ton of Spanish advancements, capturing the whole island and making it onto mainland Italy. But with all these forces, they start to smash up into these Spanish troops, and, well, yeah, the Spanish are completely caught off guard up here. They didn't really expect Italian forces to come from there. They expected them to come up from here. However, they're now getting pushed back, as the stalemate has been broken through by the Italians. And the leader of Spain is absolutely furious with how his military is doing. He immediately demands them to start winning, and, well, yeah, he basically sends over his whole military, and specifically targets Italy right here next to Rome, sieging Rome with a little tiny naval support thing, and his troops start to go down from here, and they will encircle the capital city of Italy, and this is pretty bad for them. But yeah, the Italians, they are getting absolutely overwhelmed now, as they are being fought here, and down here, and none of these fronts are going well anymore, as the Spanish will make multiple landings, making a ton of connections with their militaries, And yeah, they pushed them back to almost the capital, or they pushed them back to the capital. They've split them off, like San Marino is right here, and they kind of like, but they cut all of these troops off, and yeah, these guys, all morale is lost, and Italy becomes, or what? Italy starts to take humiliating losses, as Spanish forces in the north will move troops very, very fast through the northern Italian thing, as they will capture the city and link up with their southern, well, accomplices. And from here, the Italians will start to fall, as yeah, Rome gets captured and Italy surrenders. And now we can take a look at a peace treaty. And this is the peace treaty we end up seeing, as the Spanish will take Rome and well, Sardinia and Sicily, making them officially the Carthage Empire, I guess. But however, not all things can last forever, as in Naples, a man named Scipio will resurrect, and yeah, he starts to beat back the Carthaginians very, very quickly. And I mean, yeah, anybody named Scipio is basically able to defeat the Carthaginians. And yeah, what a way to end it, as the Italians will yeah, they will occupy all of the Carthaginian Empire. And well, yeah, that is going to do it for this Empire video. But if you guys did like it, please make sure to like and subscribe, and tell me like what you did and didn't like it about it in the comments below. Also, make sure to hype the video. I am trying to get back into YouTube just because I really like doing mapping scenarios, and also my Wixo if you haven't watched it. But if you guys did enjoy the scenario, please make sure to like and subscribe. All support is greatly appreciated, and I will see you guys in the next video.